Humans of the cardboard. The ban list just dropped. I literally fell asleep like a couple hours ago watching MBT's live stream, and then when I woke up, he was doing an intro to a ban list reaction video. So sick. Very excited. You know what we want to see. The big things are obviously an artifact hit, maybe a Verte Anaconda hit, maybe an adventure engine hit, and then the rest is hopefully some releases, maybe a couple little nicks here and there on other engines. We'll see. Let's get into this thing. I looked it up on Banlist. I saw the first ban, and let's go. Forbidden list. Okay, these are the 3 forbidden cards. Mecha fan. Okay, whoa. First off, sorry about that. Oh my gosh. What the fuck? No. Move me over here. This is Verte Anaconda. Finally gets hit. That is so clean. Wow. I really didn't think they would do this with the very recent release of the branded structure deck infusion cards. I did not think they would hit Verte Anaconda because there is still good synergy there, but everybody acknowledges that this card being super splashable in like any deck as a way to get to DPE or the branded fusion stuff is just like too good, but the fusion deck will be fine. This just takes away the splashability of stuff like DPE. So huge. I love that. Prank Kids Meow Meow Mew. If they weren't going to hit the Brave engine, they kind of had to hit something else in Prank Kids because the ability for that deck to just be so much safer through hand traps was just ridiculous. So definitely happy. I definitely called for a hit to either Prank Kids or Adventure, either or. Looks like they're probably going to dodge Adventure here, but they're still so new. They've barely been out for whatever, like not even 4 months. And then we have Mecha Phantom Beast to Rorodon. That's actually huge. I did not want them to hit Hulk because I just felt like a lot of decks can make cool use of Hulk, whereas the decks that generically just abuse Hulk in like the stupidest ways are decks that abuse it via a Rorodon. So I think a Rorodon is okay here. At the end of the day, the right hit is probably Hulk, but like I do think that people still like Hulk overall, and this is the one card that takes like stupid decks that are able to do like crazy 3-4 interruption boards off of just like one way to make Hulk. It's really a Rorodon that like really pushes that over the top, whereas just having Hulk is just cool and can actually facilitate some neat things. Okay, very cool. Moving on here. Whoa. Okay. Moving down the list here. Jet Synchron. I think because of Aurorodon getting hit here, Jet Synchron comes back as a tuner extender. That is actually really big for a couple decks. I think like the Synchro Spam deck, I don't even know what you call that, the Synchron deck. That's pretty cool. I'm sure there's some other decks that want to abuse it. But without Aurorodon, decks aren't just going into like the most insane boards you've ever seen off of just one card. You may only need like one extender, but easier said than done. Pretty cool. Yeah, I think at some point we'll be able to see maybe even Glow Bulb or what's the other one? The Blackwing card. Steam the Cloak maybe come off as well, but we'll see. Red Rose Dragon, that's another one. That kind of is a hit to based decks, or whatever you want to call them, Tenyi, Synchro, Spam decks. Really cool to see, because that deck kind of, I think, gets a little better here as we see like these Hulk decks get hit, DPE decks get hit. I guess DPs and Hulk and Aurorodon are also kind of hits to that deck, so that kind of got hit here pretty hard now that I think about it, but very interesting. Yatagarasu, we've talked about this for years. Yata has been absolutely fine. And I think it's really funny too, because I've had people in my comments be like, there's a reason to leave Yata on the ban list. The loops it creates just so crazy. Yeah, not in competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Who cares? We've seen way more busted stuff than the Yata lock in modern day competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Actual FTKs. I'm fine with this. Hulk goes to 1. I mean, we haven't even looked at that on this part. Hulk to 1 is not the biggest deal. It does take away from some decks that wanted to be Hulk spam decks, so that you can't try to make Hulk get hand trapped. You have to pass, and they just make Hulk again on the next turn. That's not really what's going on here, but that's really cool. Monkey Board. Monkey Board. Okay, I don't know a ton. I didn't play the game when Monkey Board was played. I just heard rumors about it when I did get into the game in 2017 again, and heard that it was a really good card, but obviously a ton of power creep. I don't know if this is enough to really change things around, but it's a nice card for Pendulum players. Shooting Riser Dragon. This one doesn't make any sense to me at all. This is, I believe, the Synchro 7 that lets you, like, on summon, it, like, sends a tuner or sends a monster from your deck to the graveyard to, like, copy its level, but you can't, like, use the effects of the monster you send. I think it's used in, like, base decks somewhat to, like, send a Fairy Tale Snow just to get it into grave, and then it facilitates further, like, synchro plays from there. I just don't fully understand why this would go to 1. I don't know what deck would ever play this at more than 1 period, but okay. Change of Heart. Oh my gosh. I don't understand this. We put Mind Control to 1. We put Instant Fusion to 1. Instant Fusion kind of went to 1 for other reasons because it was like in certain decks like Prank Kids. It was just like an insane engine card as well as could be in other decks, like a really sideable going second card for stuff like Thousand Eyes Restrict and stuff. But now we just add Change of Heart to that pool of insane, absolutely, like you can activate the effects of the monster you take, you can attack with it. This card's crazy. It's probably going to be in everybody's side deck now. I worry if this card will become like an actual like terrifying like sack card in the side deck. And then Time Seal, also really big. Not really big. Really big in terms of this card has been banned for so long. This card clearly sucks. It's way too slow. This card should be at 3. Semi-limits. Dynamite Knight! Okay, people were talking about Masterpiece getting unbanned, but we see Dynamite Knight go to 2. This card's also really good. The traps, to me, ring as some of the best True Draco cards, period. Monster removal, really, really nice. So Dynamite Knight fetching those. That's really good. Cyber Angel Ben 10 goes to 2. We have seen Eva go to none. So that is weird. Tenki back to 2. Wow, they're really just going back on all these cards. Pot of Desires to 2. Okay, so Tenki helping Tri-Brigade, but they've hit Tri-Brigade in other ways, hitting some Morg and other stuff like that. Okay. Pot of Desires to 2. Nobody really understood why Pot of Desires went to 1 in the first place. So that's really weird. Konami kind of going back on a lot of things here. Trickstar Light Stage. We've talked about this. Let's go. It'll probably go to 3 on the next ban list because nobody's going to touch this card, and there's not even something like Predaplant Vertanaconda anymore to be able to just go off of, into like Verte off of a 1-card Light Stage, which is cool. And then Wall Revealing Light. I believe this card was abused in like old like strategies. Like I don't think this card is that threatening to the metagame now. All right, and then let's look at the final unlimits here. Knight Assailant. Okay, this card is abused in loops, but I think it has like a reprint now with an update to its text, so that's fine. Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. This card was terrifying because people were worried you could make like multiple in a turn and just like hand rip 3 times. But that takes so much material, and even if you can, even if you would, Hulk, I'm sure, was one of the main abusers, why people were scared of that in the first place, so that's fine. Mirage Stalio, nobody's playing ever, at most 2 Mirage Stalio, but probably only 1 in most scenarios. A Hero Lives here. We knew this was coming. They get another awesome extender. Good for them, because they lost Verte as a potential extender, but that's not even the main way they like to go into DPE, so it's a good list for heroes. Circle we knew was coming as well. Nice consistency. I mean, I guess from this point we look at Gazelle. Are they going to get 3 Gazelle at some point? So yeah, Salamander getting more and more consistent. And the last card here, Scapegoat. We've talked about this for 2 years now. This card has been plenty fine to come back at any point, and we finally see it here. Wow. Okay. All in all, a lot of unlimits here, but these are all plenty expected things. Nothing's crazy here. As far as the semi-limits, very surprised they went back on some things. Like Ben 10 and Tenki, I'm very surprised about. Desires was like, they'll put Desires back to 3 at some point. Dynamite Knight, we knew he was going to come at some point. Trickstar Light Stage, we knew he was going to come at some point. Wall of Revealing Light, whatever. Limits, some crazy, it's going back on the limits. Hulk to 1. Takes away the like grind ability of decks that want to make Hulk every turn, but we also lost Rorodon, so I don't really get Hulk to 1 fully, but okay. Monkey Board's kind of I guess not, I mean, people do call for Monkey Board, I guess, so that's not the most surprising thing. Shooting Riser doesn't really make any sense. Change of Heart, one of the craziest things on the entire list here. And then all 3 of these, I am absolutely down for. The only thing you could even argue got missed on this list could potentially be Scythe, because It is super fucking degenerate, or Dagda. But I will say this. The biggest way that people would abuse Scythe as like an insane lock is by making it or setting it off of Dagda next to a DPE. And then the DPE would pop it on the opponent's turn. So now that DPE is nowhere near as splashable, only decks that can facilitate Halki 5-Rex, I guess, would be another situation. So I just don't think we'll see it nearly as often without DPE. Very happy that DPE will not be all over the format like it was before. I'm pretty satisfied. I think all in all, I don't think there were a ton of other things I really wanted to see. It was the 3 big ones. Technically, by hitting Verte, you kind of don't. And part of the reason I wanted to see like stuff like Scythe and like an adventure card on the ban list, because I didn't think they'd hit Verte, and meta decks that have been playing all these generic splashes kind of need to check especially if they aren't going to hit Verte, because they do. It does kind of limit the decks that are playing those cards anyway. So I do think people will pivot away from Scythe, which I think is really cool. For the most part, there could be some specific decks that still want to ride with it, but without being able to generically make DPE, it would be only specific strategies trying to abuse it, I would imagine. But very, very cool. I think I'm mostly down for the ban list. I'm gonna have to see what everybody else is saying and kind of see where I fall on this ban list overall after kind of mulling it over. But I do think this is pretty good for the format. Didn't expect Adventure to get hit. Wished Scythe or Dagda got hit, but because Verte does it does hurt that anyway. Auroradon gets hit. A lot of people were calling for that. That's really big. I'm happy with it. A lot of stuff moving off the ban list in this list. Other than Change of Heart, not a ton of like crazy stuff, but still nice to see Konami getting a little more aggressive with the movement off the list. I'm ready for it. You're going to see a lot of Adventure in this format, but you're going to see a lot less DPE in the format. Very cool. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to leave it up there, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more stuff from me down the line. And let me know your thoughts in the description below, in the comments below, on the new ban list. What do you like? What do you think they missed? What are you thinking about this new format? I'd love to hear your thoughts. I will see you in the next one. Peace.